Hey, you're listening to Don't Lie to Your Life Coach podcast with Kim Arrington. I'm Kim Arrington. I'm a life coach, a weight loss coach, an author, and a badass passionate about helping you connect back to your most authentic self. Join me here each week so I can coach you on how to think all those juicy thoughts that get you feeling your absolute best and taking some big ass action. Coaching has changed my life, and it can change your life too. I'm here to give you real life solutions to create a life you'll love. Because the truth is, boo, you ain't just got problems, you got options. Hey. You know what? I don't know. I haven't recorded 2 podcasts in a long time in one day, and I did today. I am batching podcast so I can get my computer screen fixed, so I won't be looking up at you like this. If you're on YouTube, what are we gonna talk about today? How do you want to feel? How do you wanna feel? First of all, this podcast is for you if you think that you don't have any influence over how you feel, and you do. You have influence over how you feel. You have influence over the stories you tell yourself. You have influence over the images that come in your mind. And me even saying that to you may bring up some resistance of like, no, I don't. Well, you do. You do. It's a lot of times the reason why people go for mindfulness, like meditation and visualization, because that helps them to begin to feel like they can have some say over the thoughts that come in their head or the images that they see. I'm here to tell you, you can choose how you feel. Now, I didn't say in every situation. You can always choose your actions. You always have choice around that. And there are some situations that'll come up where you're probably going to go with the way that we universally feel. Someone passes away, we typically universally feel bad about it. If someone gets married, we typically universally feel good about that, right? If we're at the wedding. But even everything in between, you do have some say on how you feel based off of the stories that you tell yourself. So think of it this way. Let's say you have a breakup and you feel a lot of relief about it. Another person may have a breakup and they feel very sad about it. Well, it's the story that you're telling yourself that influences how you feel about it. Okay, podcast over. I gave you the punchline early. I want to talk to you about when I realized that we have so much say over how we feel. I went on an artist residency. Many of you all know that, and I still consider myself an artist, but I was more of a working artist years ago. I wrote plays, poetry, professional singer, was a teaching artist, did audio documentary. I did a lot of different things, visual arts, and that still lives in me. It does. But I was on a trip. I won a grant, and I ended up going on a trip to Panama to write a play. I'm seeing all these images in my head right now. I'm influencing. Remember I told you you can decide the images. I'm seeing these images in my head of while I'm talking to you. And I went to this artist residency and it was incredible. Other artists working on projects. We also drank a lot of beer and stayed up and laughed and had a good time and danced in the little nightclub but I left the United States and I don't remember what was going on, but I know for most of my life I had insomnia. It was really difficult for me to sleep. It was difficult for me to stay asleep. When I went on the trip, I was just blown away by how safe I felt. This place in Panama, families have lived here for literal generations. People don't lock their doors. They don't even have addresses in this particular area. I felt so safe. I slept like a baby. I felt so safe. There's this picture I have where I'm floating in the ocean, so serene, so happy. And something in that trip made me recognize, like, I can feel safe and stay safe. And I took a lot of that safety back with me to the United States when I came back. I would say that my insomnia was never as bad as it was before the trip. There was a recognition that that sense of safety was out there and that I could think thoughts, I could create images in my head of that safety. Now, when I came back from Panama, I was actually angry and sad, and I had so much grief. I did not want to leave. So this idea of how can we feel how we want to feel? I decided last year in 2023 that instead of asking people how they were, I was going to ask people, how do you want to feel? And that opens up a whole nother conversation with people where they're able to pause for a minute. It catches them off guard and say, oh, sometimes I have to prompt them with words. So let me prompt you with some words. Do you want to feel safe? Do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to feel loved by yourself? Do you want to feel excited? Do you want to feel celebrated? Do you want to feel happy, worthy, amazing, balanced, important, financially free? Okay. And let's go on the other. Do you want to feel thoughtful? Do you want to allow yourself to experience some grief? Do you want to sit in the sadness of loss? But then what are the feelings you want to choose after that? What are the feelings you want to choose after that? I've already given you the punchline. It's all about the story you choose. How do you tell the story? This is me telling you that you hold the keys to the kingdom. You can make this happen. And the way we can do this is we can kind of go back and reverse engineer. We can think about how we want to feel, and then we can think about what steps we want to take to get there. And I created a framework called Just Do 3. And I created this framework because I was having a particularly shitty day. And I was like sitting there and I tried to do one thing to feel better. I did not feel better. I tried to do another thing to feel better. I did not feel better. I did the third thing and I felt better. And what I decided in that moment was the reason why I felt better was the first thing, the second thing, and the third thing all combined. The attention, the time, the willingness to shift my focus, to shift my attention. I'm sounding like a mindfulness tape, like you are getting sleepy. like I'm sounding like a guided meditation, but it is all about where you're putting your attention, but also the amount of time that you're shifting your attention. Typically, for us to sustain a feeling, we have to keep thinking, having images, having thoughts about it. And because typically a feeling can only be sustained for 90 seconds. So we're continuing to pound our minds with the thoughts of what's going on, and that sustains the feeling. One of the things I teach my clients is I talk to them about, I'll set a timer sometimes. Like I'm gonna let myself feel whatever feeling it is for 10 minutes. And then the timer goes off and I say, do I need 10 more minutes? And I'll let myself feel it. And then I'll say, do I need 10 more minutes? And usually when I get to at least that 30-minute mark, I'm in a better position. Hey friends, every podcast episode is sponsored by Half-Life Weight Loss. Let's hear a little bit more about it. And it's a new, shorter commercial, I promise. Hey girl, hey, my name is Coach Kim, and I'm your last weight loss coach. More on that later. Yes, I've lost 65 pounds, and I'm living my dream of lasting weight loss, plus so much more. And I'm here to spill some tea. What if I told you it only takes watching these 13 videos and doing your workbooks to finally have lasting weight loss? Like weight melting off like ice cream while you eat what you like weight loss? Like being able to go in any store and pick up a pair of jeans or that red dress in your size, like not having to lose weight for an event. You're going to the event and everybody is talking about you at the event and how good you look. Body confidence on 10, friend, and having the most fun you've had in years while saving money, time, and stress. Sign me up, coach. Put me in, coach. Half Life Weight Loss is going to help you gain your whole self back. I got you. All right. Can't wait to see you on the inside. All right, we're back. If you are interested in learning more about Half-Life, go to www.kimarrington.com/free weight class. It is also in the show notes. So with the Just Do 3, let me give you an example. Say you had an argument with your best friend, okay? So then you're like, all right, I'm feeling my feelings, but I'm going to do something for myself. Let me go straighten up my room and I'll listen to, one of my favorite albums. You do that. You're feeling better. I am going to do a podcast in 2024 about the anger scale because that's really helpful for me and most of us really struggle with what we do with anger and how we do anger, and so it actually has numbers. I need to like do the research on who came up with it because I don't actually know who came up with it, but there are numbers that correspond and like where are you, and sometimes when I'm angry, like I'll know a 10 is furious, but if I'm at a 6, which is like mad but like not a 10, and then I'll keep going down that scale until I get to 0, which is, completely relaxed, not a care in the world. Well, I'll do a podcast on that in 2024. But back to the Just Do 3. So you cleaned your room, and I do believe that like a clean space helps you to feel more clear, feel more connected. And you did that for yourself and you listened to your favorite record, you kind of sang along. So you got some serotonin going. That means that you got those neurotransmitters, that dopamine, which helps you feel better. It's your feel good emotion, your concentration. You got to remember those lyrics, right? Your mood and the serotonin. Which, helps with your sleep and your anxiety and your pain. So music literally does lift your mood. It literally does change how you feel. Now, on the other end, if you're listening to you, we all know how we would listen to the song when our heart was broken over and over and over and over. It can do the opposite. But this is like music that might be, lifting your mood, get you one sad song in the album or two sad songs and the rest of them are a little more positive. Find your positive album. Okay. So then you're feeling better. And then you decide you want to co-regulate. So your second thing you do is you call up your other friend, you talk some shit about that friend. Kind of joking, but we always decide who we're going to call, right? Who's going to be more on our side. I actually in later years have been like, who is going to tell me exactly what I need? I know we do that too. We just like, what do I need to hear right now? So you co-regulate and you feel a little better. And then your third thing you do is you decide to take a bath or you decide to go for a walk. And all of those three things together help you to recognize that this thing that happened isn't all your life is about, right? This thing that happened probably will get worked out. Hey, you even reminded yourself on the second step, you have other friends, like not that you are replacing this particular friend, but that, there are other people who hear you, see you, love you. You hear you, see you, love you. I teach something called the 5 O's of letting go of hard emotions. And one of the things that you do is you have a body release. So you've literally, if you go on that walk, you've moved your body and talked it out. And maybe the friend you called helped you to think about affirmative things like, oh, you and her will be back talking in no time. And so you had multiple ways of moving things through your body. That helps you to establish how you feel. I'll tell you what else does. I did this last year and I called it on my computer. Look, kids, I've done cool things. I needed to do an inventory of my life to see the things that I had done. Particularly, I was working on Half-Life and it was taking quite a bit of time. I wasn't traveling as much. Had grounded myself quite literally. Also, like, because I was very focused on a project, I wasn't going after coaching clients as much. And so I was watching my dough too, watching my money. So I needed a list of things that I had done, like exciting things. What are some exciting things you've done that you consider wins? Or like, did you go to the Louvre in France and see the Mona Lisa? Did you, do that hike that you had talked about? These are all sounding like stuff I like to do. Hold on, let me switch to y'all. Did you go play volleyball? Did you did you write that first chapter of your book? You want to celebrate your wins. And celebrating your wins doesn't have to be in a huge big way. It can just literally be you um the way you did it. It's amazing. But it also can be in a way where people are around and folks experience you and are able to celebrate you, as well. So you want to think about always doing that. I have a friend, Zelda, who's really gotten me into, and she had someone who I think used to work with her who was like, you got to celebrate that. And she's really got me into celebrating the things I do. Even when I do a run, I will turn around in the street and be like, woo! I think a fifth one is talking aloud your gratitude. Talking aloud your gratitude. So noticing, like, there was one day where I was like, I'm grateful for the plate. I'm grateful for the car. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for my ability to be mobile. I'm grateful for the trees. Like, I literally kept noticing all the things that I felt. And I think another word for gratitude is appreciation or even love for. And those kind of things connected me to that, I think, that universal source of love that allowed me to step outside of my own individuality and think about all of the things that are available to us to notice. When you think about how you want to feel, I want you to think about not just, and I hate hearing this when people are like, oh, the rug, I'm waiting for the rug to get ripped out from under me. But what if you are able to deal with that too, and also recognize that you're going to go back to a feeling of being yourself? Or in this case, if you are wanting to upgrade that and feeling joyful. Like, what if it's the opposite of your personality? You're more subdued, but you want to be the person. I know when you do this in friend groups, people are like, are you okay? Like, you're the person who is, say if you're the really, no, let me change this. Say if you're the really keyed up, excited, you know, over the top friend, and then you're the relaxed friend. So this could, like, you get to decide how you think you want your life to go. And do you all realize that? Do you all know that even changing, I'm going to link to the podcast. I can't think of which one it is, where I talk about Marissa Peers, and she talks a lot about how the images and the stories and the stubborn stories we tell ourselves affect how we see the world. And if you want that to change, then you just change the picture in your head. You just change the story you're telling yourself. I often talk about people becoming the heroes of their stories. So like, say something really terrible happens, and you see this all the time, right? When people are they face really extraordinary circumstances, and they're able to shift it to, yeah, this happened, but also what happened was that, I learned this and this. So asking yourself in some of those more difficult times, what was the lesson I learned? How did it make me the person that I am now? I really feel like learning how to love deeper is a place where we're often allowed to come up against some very difficult odds. And, I always think about this line that Sade, the singer, talks about is tenderness comes from pain. Like, we come up against these really difficult odds, and it changes us and makes us recognize that we want to approach the world in a more loving way. We want to approach the world in a more tender way. So, this podcast I like because I haven't quite figured this out. I haven't quite worked this out, but I know it's available. I don't even know if I have the language to express how this is available, but this has been one of the biggest changes that I made in 2023 when I was like, I just literally did it yesterday. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and I was just like, I'm going to shift myself. And I closed my eyes and I laid down, and I was like, I want to plug into this source energy. I want to plug into this energy of love. And I did it. And I shifted, with another Just Do 3, where I then went and journaled. And then I watched a YouTube video, and I shifted, and I felt great, and I got so much done. And then I celebrated myself, all these things I talked about in these episodes. So I want you this week to ask yourself, how do you want to feel? And I want you to know that it's possible. I don't even need you to believe it. I want you to be like, Coach Kim talked about I can choose how I want to feel, and I just want to turn it around my head of how it's possible. And when are times that I've done this? When are times that I've shifted into feeling something in a different way, and just notice that evidence. Okay. So you guys know I close every podcast with an affirmation. This week's affirmation is, I get to feel any way I want, and that feels good. I get to feel any way I want, and that feels good. I get to feel any way I want, and that feels good. All right, y'all. That's what I got. I just want us to think about in 2024 that we have dominion over how we feel. And a lot of that has to do with us actively participating in that and recognizing that what is happening around us does not have to shift us and pull us from where we are. We can observe it, and we can still feel connected to how we're feeling. All right? Y'all have a good one.
Are you feeling what you just heard? Good, good. Repeat after me. You don't have to figure it out on your own again anymore. I'm here to help. Head over to KimArrington.com and download my free video series dedicated to getting you feeling your best right now. Look around, there's some good stuff waiting on you. Got questions? Well, we're always talking on the socials, so find me on YouTube, Insta, and the book. Don't be shy, y'all. Go listen to another episode or join me here the same time next week. Finally, don't keep good shit to yourself. Share this with a homie that could use some help too. Remember, We're not lying to ourselves anymore. We're not lying to our doctors. And you damn sure don't lie to your life coach.